The next day, I arrive at the racetrack around 8:15 a.m. I'm even a little early, I say to myself. When I get to Daisy's stable, I mess up her forelock by running my hand wildly through it. Good morning, I say to Tom as I walk over to the door of Ellen's stable. Morning, he said quickly, and I could tell that he was nervous about something, which was really out of character for him. Is everything okay? I ask him. Yeah, why wouldn't it be? He says, still anxious. I look at him and raise one eyebrow. Well, I'm guessing this means you haven't seen it? He asked. Seen what? I ask. He pulls out his phone, unlocks it, and then hands it to me. It's opened on an article. I start skimming over it. It's about me and the accident. You've got to be kidding me, I said. It wasn't me, I swear, Tom says hastily. I look at him with a frown on my face. No, of course it's not, dummy. But I think I do know who did this, I said to him. You do, he asks me. He sounded really surprised. Yeah, it's probably my mom, I said. Your mom? He asked me in full disbelief. Yeah, but I'll deal with that later. I came here for a lesson, remember? After the lesson, we tack off Daisy together. That was actually not bad for the first lesson, Tom says. Excuse you? I ask him. Don't worry, you'll get there. One day, at least, he says, mocking me. I give him a little push in his side. I laugh and then shake my head. So, what about your mom? He asks me carefully. Honestly, I don't know. I tell him, because I'll figure that out when I get home. I let out a sigh. We take off the rest of the tack in silence. I put all of Daisy's stack back in the tack room, in my locker. I go back to Daisy's stable to say goodbye. That was everything, I say. I guess I'll see you tomorrow then, Tom says. Yeah, see ya, I say. I give Daisy a little kiss on her nose and then run off to my car. I drive up to the mansion. Godfrey is standing outside. Good afternoon, miss, he says with a friendly smile on his face. I smile back at him and say, Hi, Godfrey. I hand him my keys and move on to the house. By the way, there's one thing I failed to mention. You see, the thing is, my mom's not just anyone. My mom's the Baroness. I know, poor little rich girl, right? But trust me, it is way less amazing than you think. Yes, we do have a lot of money, but my mom is not exactly a nice person. I get inside, just to find my mom sitting at the kitchen table, with a glass of the most expensive wine that we have in Jorvik. Hello, Mother, I say. Hi, dear, she says. I read a line from the article from my phone. Really, Mom? I say. She sighs and then puts her glass down. I should have known Bob was going to call you right away, I tell her. Yeah, he did, she says. Care to explain yourself? I ask her, then get on a chair at our table. That stupid table that is way too big, just like this fucking mansion. My mom says to me, I did what I had to do. It's for your own good. Cliché, right? Bullshit. You're my mom. Mom, you're supposed to have my back, not put a knife in it. I say, well, Bob was right, wasn't he? You weren't focusing, and you were spending too much time with that boy. She says, really, Mom? That's what this is about? Well, did Bob at least mention the fact that I jumped again? that I went to the cross-country paths with Daisy? All because of that boy you talk about? I say, now getting pissed. She doesn't say anything, but the look on her face tells me enough. He didn't tell her, and she didn't know about it. Yeah, that's what I thought, I say, and then I go upstairs. I go in my room and just start packing. I had to get out of there. I knew that I couldn't really trust her anymore, and that I needed to get out of the house, like, ASAP. I packed everything I could take with me. I put everything in my bag and then walked out the room and go downstairs. My mom's still there. What do you think you're doing? She asks me. I'm selling everything I own, I say sarcastically. She looks at me with a confused look on her face. No, Mom, I'm leaving. Duh. I continue. The hell you are, she says. Where would you even be staying? She asks me, insinuating that I don't have friends. Well, she's not wrong. Everybody always hung out with me because of the money or popularity. Everyone except for Phoebe, because she kind of had the same faith as me. But I lost her. I pushed her away, like I did everyone else. I'm actually staying at a friend's place, I tell her. What friend? She asks me. She clearly still thinks I don't have friends. Again, not that she's wrong. Well, I'll figure that out, I reply. I start walking towards the door, and as soon as I'm in the doorway, my mom stands up from the table and yells at me. If you walk through that door right now, you don't have to come back. Ever. I turn around and say, that won't be a problem. Trust me. And then I walked out. I took the keys of my car back from Godfrey. Thanks for holding on to them, Godfrey, I said to him. Of course, miss, he says as politely as always. Bye, I say to him, and then I get in my car and just drive off. I don't know why, but I am driving to Tom's house. I don't know if you know if he's home. I parked my car. His house is a lot smaller than what I was expecting. It's so simple, but I like it. I get out of my car and walk up to the house. I knock 3 times. I hear him walk towards the door, and then he opens it up. He looks totally surprised. Pips, do you want to know why I owe this pleasure? And, wait, how do you even know where I live? He asks. I have my sources. And I kind of, sort of, need a place to stay, I say to him, awkwardly. And you're kind of the first person, or the only person, really, that I thought of. I said, well, I don't really have a second bedroom. He says, oh, that's fine. I'll just try somewhere else then. I tell him, no, it's okay. I'll just take the couch. He replies, no, you don't have to do that. I don't want to be in your way, I say. And he won't be. Please, stay, he says. Fine, if you insist, I say. He steps aside and holds open the door for me. Thanks, I say with an awkward little smile on my face. Or something that was supposed to be a smile. I walk into the hallway. He closes the door and comes standing next to me. Something wrong, Pips? He asks me. Yes, actually, I say to him. He looked at me and I could tell that he was surprised that I said that. It's Miss Pips to you, sir, I say, teasing him. Oh, but of course, my apologies, he says. Here, I'll take these from you. Tom says as he grabs my bags. Yeah, thanks, I say to him. He opens the door and goes inside with the bags. I follow him inside and close the door behind us. Follow me, he says as he turns around. Then he goes upstairs. He leads me to the end of the hallway. He opens the door on the left and goes inside. I follow him into the room. He puts my bags onto the bed. I have a couple of drawers to spare. You can put your clothes in them if you want, Tom said as he showed me which drawers he was talking about. I nodded and said, yeah, okay, thanks. Well, I'll just let you get settled, he said, and then he walked out. I looked around and let out a bit of a sigh. What the hell am I even doing here? And why did I come here? I thought to myself. I opened my bags and started unpacking. I took out all of my stuff and put them in the empty drawers, although it felt super weird to unpack all my stuff in a stranger's house, in a stranger's bedroom, and put them in a stranger's closet. I'm done unpacking, and I go downstairs, looking for Tom. I find him in the living room. He's just sitting on the couch, watching TV. Hey, I say. He looks up to me and turns off the TV. Hey, Pips, done unpacking? He responds. Yeah, all done, I say. And thanks again, you really didn't have to do that, I continue. No problem at all. I don't mind helping out a friend, he says with a smile on his face. Tea? He asks. Yes, please, I reply. He walks into the kitchen on my right. It connects to the living room, only separated by the counter. He grabs 2 cups from one of the kitchen cabinets. He puts a little box with all different kinds of tea flavors in front of me and fills the kettle. So, if you don't mind me asking, what happened exactly? Tom asks. Well, it turns out that I was right. It was my mom. She was behind the article. And I couldn't stay there any longer, I reply. I can't believe your own mother would do something like that, he says. Well, you better believe it, I respond. The kettle whistles loudly. Tom walks over and fills the 2 cups that he had grabbed earlier. I put a tea bag with the flavor forest fruit in my cup. Right, before I forget, what do you want to have for dinner? Tom asks. Pizza or Chinese? Pizza. Duh, I replied him. Then pizza it is, he says. The next morning, I wake up a little earlier than usual. It still feels weird being in this room. I go downstairs into the kitchen. Tom is already up. He's baking something. Good morning, Pips, he says cheerfully. I walk up to the little bar that is connected to the kitchen. Morning, I say. Someone's in a good mood, I say to him. He laughs and says, well, what can I say? I'm a morning person, he says. Well, that makes one of us. I look at the pen behind him. What are you making? I ask him. Pancakes, he says. Do you want one? He asks. Obviously, I say. Coming right up, miss, he says. Anything else? He asks, teasing me. A cup of tea would be nice, I say as I rest my head in my hands. Yeah, wouldn't it? He says, and then he turns around to the pan with the pancakes. Seriously? I say to him. The cups are over there, he says, pointing to a cabinet, and this thing is called a kettle. Are you familiar with it? He says, and it's something in his expression told me he was pretty proud of himself. Funny, I say to him sarcastically. I walk over to the counter, fill the kettle with water, and turn it on. I go through his little collection of tea bags. I pick the one that says forest fruit. I put it in my cup and let it sit there for a while. Then I take it out, make my way out of the kitchen again, and I sit down at the table, just in time because the pancakes are ready. Here you go, Tom says as he puts them on the plates. Then he puts the pan back on the stove and turns it off. He comes sitting in the chair in front of me. Wow, these are really good, I say to him. Don't sound so surprised, he says. Wait, you didn't think I could cook? He asks me. No, I really thought you'd suck. Damn, no need to sugarcoat it, he said. Well, what about you then? He asks. Well, I can bake eggs. Everything else I can burn, I reply. Tom laughs and says, so let me get this straight. You just insulted me about something you suck at. No. Maybe? Kinda. I say. How come you can cook? He asks. Well, my brother is an amazing cook. He works as a chef somewhere in Europe. I believe it was France or something. So he likes cooking, he's good at it, and so I didn't feel like it wasn't necessary for me to learn it anymore. I reply. Really? You have a brother? Tom asks. Sadly, yes, I respond. He's like the golden child of the family, and I'm just one big screw-up. You're not a screw-up, Piper, Tom says very seriously. Right. Anyway, what about you? Where did you learn how to cook like that? I ask him. Well, my parents died when I was about 18, 19, so I had to take care of me and my sister. I guess I just had to learn how to cook. He says, really? I didn't know that. I say, well, now you do, Tom replies. When I arrive at the stable, I park my car. I look next to me, and Tom's car is parked next to mine. How is he already here? I thought I left before he did. I get out of my car and make my way to the stalls. Tom's in Ellen's stable. There you are, he says. Hi, I respond. I'm going to jump today, he says. Good for you, I tell him. He lets out a sigh and says, wanna join? Yeah, no thank you, I say to him. I would like to stay as far away from all those crazy annoying girls as possible. I'm going for a ride with Daisy. We've been training for so long, I need to do something fun for a change. I tell him, as I start putting Daisy's bridle on. Oh, come on, don't tell me you actually don't want to join me, he says. I open the stable door and get on Daisy. That's not it, and you know that. Besides, I think you have more than enough people to accompany you, I say as I look behind him at the girl standing at the side of the arena. Come on, Pips, he says. But I already started walking away with Daisy. Sorry, can't hear you. I yelled back at him, even though I knew exactly what he said. I try to get up, but I notice that I can't stand. My ankle hurts like hell. Damn it, I say to myself. I just stand on my right leg and reach for Daisy's reins. The reins are hanging under her head instead of around her neck. I put them back to where they're supposed to be. Then I grab my phone to call someone who can pick me up. It's broken. The screen is shattered and it doesn't turn on anymore. I must have fallen on top of it. Of course. Shit. What do I do now? I say to myself. I wrap my arm around Daisy's neck and start walking back home. Well, it wasn't really walking. It was more like limping. It hurts, but not as much as before. Then I hear a voice coming from somewhere in the distance. It's yelling something. It sounds like it's getting closer. Hey, Pips, are you okay? He asks. Well, yeah, but what are you doing here? I ask. Well, you've been gone for a while. I thought something was wrong. He said. Well, you weren't wrong about that. I reply. Pips, he says, already judging me. Well, I fell off and my ankle hurts, I say. He looks at me in silence. I could just tell that he was judging me. It's my left ankle and I can't stand on it, and that's why I couldn't get on Daisy. I try, breaking the awkward silence. You can ride with me and Alan, he says. Oh no, that's okay. I just need your help getting on Daisy. Then it should be fine. I respond to him. He walks up to me and picks me up, as if I don't weigh any more than a feather. What do you think you're doing? I yell at him. He doesn't say anything, instead he just puts me on Alan's back. Then he grabs Daisy's reins, and he gets on Alan too. Now he's sitting behind me on the giant of a horse. He hands me Daisy's reins, and then he picks up Alan's reins. He clicks with his tongue, and we start moving. So what happened exactly? How did he end up falling off of Daisy? Isn't she like the chillest horse ever? Tom says to me. Well, we were galloping, and then there was this cow, and it scared her, and then I just fell off because she reared up and stuff. So, yeah. Tom starts laughing. That is not funny, I say to him as I poke him in the side with my elbow. Well, it kind of is, he says. I roll my eyes, even though he can't see my face. Just because I can't see your face doesn't mean I don't know when you are rolling your eyes, Tom says. Now I can't help but laugh too. We get to the stables, and Tom puts Daisy in her stable. Then he takes me off of Alan. I limp towards Daisy. I want to take off her bridle and check her hooves to see if there are any little stones in it or something. But Tom stops me. What do you think you're doing? He says. I'm going to take care of Daisy? Why? I reply, the hell you are, he says. Then he picks me up again and puts me on a stack of hay bales. You've got to be kidding me, I respond. Put me down this instant, I yell at him angrily. He just laughs. I mean it, I say very seriously. Come on, Pips, let me help you. For once in your life, let me help you, he says. Fine. Not that I have much of a choice, I tell him. He puts Alan in his stable and takes his bridle off. Then he goes into Daisy's stable. He takes off her bridle too, and then grooms her and picks up her hoof. Careful! Her back feet are sensitive, I tell him. No need to worry, Pibbs. I can handle myself, he says with that arrogant tone of his. Well, yeah, but can you handle a daisy? I reply. He laughs. I think I will be alright. Yeah, that's exactly what she wants you to think, I say to him. He picks Daisy's back hooves without any problem. I let out a relieved sigh. See, I'm fine, Tom says. Beginner's luck, I respond. Now will you put me back down? I ask him. Judging by the look on his face, I think he noticed that I was getting kind of annoyed. Sure, he said. Great, I reply. I wanted to get down ASAP. If you ask nicely, of course, he says, with a smirk on his face. Seriously? I yell at him. Oh, I'm very serious, he says. I couldn't stand him sometimes. Now he's just standing there, looking at me with that stupid, arrogant smile, and I hate it. Fine. Will you please put me back on the fucking ground? I ask him, still mad. You and I have a very different definition of nice, he said. Maybe try again, he says. Thomas Gideon Cooper, put me down right the hell now, I yell at him. You know my middle name? Tom asks me. Now, Thomas. Okay, he says. Then he lifts me up gently and puts me on the ground very carefully. Thank you, I say, still with an annoyed tone. That wasn't so difficult now, was it? I say to him. He laughs and walks away with Ellen's bridle. Ass, I say to myself. And I slowly make my way to Daisy. I check her hoofs a second time. Then I pick up her bridle, her grooming kit, and my helmet and gloves. Then I limp to the tack room. As I walk through the door, I bump into Tom. I accidentally let everything drop, apart from my helmet. He picks everything up and puts it in my locker. Thanks, I say. No problem, he smiles at me. I put my helmet in my locker, then lock it and put the key in my pocket. Oh, right. Pips, I wanted to ask you something, Tom says suddenly. Okay, now I'm scared, I said. Oh, ha, he says. I laugh. What's up? I ask him. Well, I've got a competition next week and I'd like for you to come. Only if you want to, of course, he says. Sure, I'll come. Where is it? I reply. It's pretty far, the Yorvik stables, but I'll take you there. Then you can help me with tacking up and all, and we can walk through the course together. What do you say? He says. Sounds like fun, I respond. Fun? Oh no, it's very serious, he says sarcastically. Oh, of course, very serious, I play along. We laugh for a second, and then I limp back outside. Tom watches me with one eyebrow raised and his arms crossed. He has the funniest expression on his face. Okay, that's it, I'm taking you to a doctor, he says. I'm fine, I probably won't feel it in the morning. I reply. It's not really debatable, he says. Fine. That's what it's take to shut you up. I say to him, great, come on, he responds. We walk to his car together. I lean on his arm so that it doesn't hurt as much when I walk. The doctor said that I just sprained my ankle. He told me that ibuprofen and a good night's sleep would probably do the trick. It's not that serious, just like I thought it would be. We just came home and we're sitting on the couch, watching TV. Tom is actually being really sweet. I didn't even know he knew what it means. But here we are, I guess. He made tea for me, forest fruit. You remembered. Well, I'm going to take a shower, Tom says suddenly. You'll be okay, right? He asks. I smile at him and say, yeah, I'll be fine. I didn't mind a moment to myself. That night, though, I lay restless in bed. All sorts of things are spooking through my head. I feel kind of bad for leaving, instead of talking things through. And then there's Phoebe. Should I talk to her? Would she be willing to listen to me, or was it too late? Would she even care? I grabbed my phone from the nightstand and turned on some relaxing music. Maybe that would help. And before I knew, I drift off to sleep. I wake up a couple of hours later. My chest hurts, and I can't breathe. I'm shaking. I sit up and try to control my breath, but it's no use. I start counting backwards from 100 with steps of 4, just like my therapist said. 100, 96, 98, 88, 84. After a while, I finally start to catch my breath again. The pain in my chest goes away. I'm still shaking, so I decide to go to the kitchen to get a glass of water. Maybe that'll calm me down in some way. I walk down the stairs very carefully. I don't want to wake up Tom, who's sleeping on the couch. I grab a glass from one of the cabinets. Then I go to the sink. As I'm making my way over there, I feel another jolt of pain in my chest. I accidentally let the glass slip from my hand. It falls on the ground and it shatters. My chest still hurts and breathing is difficult. Fuck, I thought to myself. There's no strength left in my body. I slowly slide down against the counter. I just sit there for a while, trying to calm down. Then all of a sudden I hear Tom getting up from the couch. When he spots me sitting on the ground, he rushes towards me. As he's close to me, he sees the glass laying on the ground. He turns to me and sits in front of me. "Pips, what happened?" he asks. I want to tell him what's going on, but I can't get a single word out. He seems to quickly figure it out by himself. "Okay, breathe with me, Pips," he says. "Inhale and exhale." I try to do the same, but it just doesn't work. He notices this and tries something else. "It's okay, Pips. It'll pass. You're alright," he says. "Think of something positive." Something positive? Okay, like working with my dad, with the horses? That's good, right? Or the day that Tom took me to the cross-country paths and actually overcame my fears. And I don't know how, but after a while, I started to calm down again. "So, what the fuck happened, Pips?" Yes, after a while. I don't really know. I just woke up in the middle of the night and had a full-on panic attack. I haven't had those in the longest time. "God, I'm so sorry I woke you up," I say to him. "It's alright, Pips," he says. "No, it's not. Sorry," I said. "It's okay, really, but you do owe me a new glass," he said as he looked at all the broken pieces lying on the ground. I laughed and said, "Oh, yeah, sorry." "Okay, no more apologizing," he said. "Right, sorry. Damn it." He laughed and said, "Okay, starting now." "How did you know what to do?" I asked him. "Well, my sister used to have them after my parents passed away," he said. "Really?" "Yeah, she's a real pain in the behind," he responds. "Well, that's what siblings are for, aren't they?" I say to him. "Yeah, I guess. Come on, let's go back to bed," he says. "Yeah, good idea," I say. He walked me back upstairs to the bedroom. "Good night, Pips, and if you need anything, well, you know where to find me," he said with a smile on his face. "Thanks, Tom," I replied, smiling back at him. "No problem," he said. "Good night," I said, then went into my room and went back to bed.